All right, we're live, and welcome to our Monday lives. There is a Q&A component about this, so please comment below about your questions, where you're from, say hi. Okay, so into the topic of today, the key to teaching nonverbal children. Why do we want to talk about this? Well, and that's the reason is because I've been teaching a bunch of nonverbal children since day one of my therapy. I don't know why. It's a coincidence or whatever, or are there really that many nonverbal children around all over the place? I don't know. I cannot answer that. But at the same time, what I can tell you is the definition of nonverbal, for me at least, at the very least, right? So a lot of people will say, oh, my kid is nonverbal, so on and so forth. But most of the time, your child is not nonverbal, okay? So nonverbal is that, from my definition, there are different definitions across the globe. That's the problem with there's no one consensus about anything in this world, in the world of therapy at the very least. We're still, it's a rather young industry, but okay, let me skip forward, all right? So nonverbal for me is that when a child is above and beyond a pre-verbal context. What does pre-verbal mean? Meaning a child who hasn't started talking yet, right? So a child who hasn't started talking, it needs to be kind of young, right? So we would say that for me, it would be below 3, right? Or below 2.5 sometimes. And that they haven't started talking and their pre-linguistic skills haven't been totally developed yet. And I would call it pre-verbal, okay? I would call it like that. Obviously, some people are going to disagree with me. Okay, don't mind. You can just put it down in the comments and let me know what you think about it, or find a source that you trust and share with other people, okay? I feel like that's how it should be on the internet and in society, is that if you think that I am saying something that is wrong or whatever, you need to tell me. All right. So why do we want to teach nonverbal children? So a lot of people say the key to nonverbal is to teach your pre-linguistic skills, right? And the definition of nonverbal in my case is any child who is over 4 and still hasn't been able to use verbal expressions to communicate. So speech is a medium for communicating language, right? To convey a message, okay? They might be able to use like text, might be able to use gestures, might be able to use like what we call AAC machine, like an iPad or whatever, to poke, and then they will say, I want cookie or whatever, right? So their language and speech is totally, is totally separate. And when we say verbal, we mean like verbal communication, right? So they probably cannot create speech sounds that are meaningful enough to convey a long message. Okay, so given that we now know like what nonverbal means, do we go ahead and teach pre-linguistic skills? So the answer is yes and no. It depends on the kid. Obviously, again, when is it not dependent on the kid, right, Meng? Every time someone asks me on like email, or like I see all your DMs, right? I'm trying my best to reply them. Thank you so much for asking me these questions. Most of the time, I'm caught off guard, and then my answer would be, I don't know. It depends on your kid. I haven't seen them. I can't give a reply. So let me run you through some scenarios of different types of nonverbal children. One type of nonverbal children would be that their language is rather intact, meaning they understand what we're saying most of the time. They understand what they want to say, but they just can't. So there are loads of reasons for those. We have severe speech disorders that will create that scenario. So the hot topic nowadays, I say hot because I'm in this industry, is that a lot of parents are talking about apraxia of speech. Like a long time ago, like a year or so ago, some mother was like, I think my kid has apraxia of speech, and he's like 2 or something. And I'm like, that would mean that you are rather lucky or unlucky, for that matter of fact, because the prevalence of apraxia of speech is very low, first of all. Second of all, it's very difficult to diagnose at a young age. Okay. And it's not always apraxia of speech in a severe speech disorder. It might be dysarthria. Okay, so I see more and more people joining. So just let me know where you're watching from. It'd be really nice for me to like know where everyone's tuning in from, and it gives me a sense of I'm talking to someone rather than a camera. But anyways, so about nonverbal, that's the first type, right? Someone who understands the language but not being able to say the speech sounds. Okay, the second type of nonverbal children is that I think overall they are not as developed as other children. Okay, and they have speech and language problems. They might have also motor problems, right? It's a global developmental delay, that kind. And I see most of the kids are either this or that, right? There aren't ones that are like in the middle. I think it's rather difficult for me to find such cases, because if they're middle and whatever, it means that they are actually able to say something. Right? They have like their skills aren't that, like that. How to say, it's extreme is the word for nonverbal children. Okay, so I see loads of people saying, no, actually not loads. I'm flattering myself. So a few people, USA, Fei, I guess, and Tuba, nice, from India, and Jonina, thank you, from Norway. That's excellent. Anyways, so for teaching nonverbal children, there is something you have to remember. It's not always about the pre-linguistic skills. If we're talking about the type 1, there's no point in doing pre-linguistic skills, right? Because they already have a language system going on. So all you have to do now is to think about what other methods can, like, you need to do two things, right? Number one is to continue to push for speech. Okay, when people see us, I'm going to teach gestures, or I'm going to teach PECs, they're going to think, oh no, that's going to make them lazy to talk or whatever, right? That's exactly what we're going to do for the second thing. We're going to teach them an alternative way to get the messages across. Okay, and the reason why is because you don't want to lower their communication intention, right? Intent. That's the word. So why we don't want it to go down is because as it becomes very difficult to give you an answer, and if you push for a verbal response every time, it becomes stressful and it's unsustainable, right? And it becomes a chore talking to you, then they will not communicate, and therefore the whole language will not continue to develop because they don't use it, right? Okay, so you have to remember that. It's like there's no middle ground for that person to, like, you don't meet the child halfway to meet their communication needs, right? So therefore, for the first type, those who have a severe speech disorder, but the language is rather okay, I would say keep on pushing during a structured setting, like during speech therapy or like your table time with your child. Keep on trying new sounds, right? Keep on trying new sounds. Keep on trying to make them say more syllables. Keep on making them do speech exercises. I'm not talking about oral motor, okay? I will talk about that in a different live, which I have before, but I've got some new ideas about it since I've been like thinking, reading, and seeing more kids over the internet now, and I know more, so I can share more about that. So I'm not doing oral motor, right? And the other part is to continue to give them a system to teach them how to communicate with others with the things that they have. Okay. The other type of nonverbal children, those who are globally developmentally delayed, right? Obviously, yes, we should do pre-linguistic skills, right? What is pre-linguistic skills? Just search it on the internet. There's like a whole thing. Like, I'm not here to tell you things that you can search up like that. Like that's ridiculous, right? And I mean, why would I become a walking textbook, right? So pre-linguistic skills are things that we work on for children who are below the age of 2, who are pre-verbal, and we teach them the building blocks, the requirements to them being able to use a verbal communication, right? So what we do with these children, usually in a special school setting, most of all, because they are extreme, right? They are rather, don't mind me saying, more severe cases because they cannot communicate verbally. What you will see happen is that there's a lot of matching, right? Matching skills. Not going to talk about how to do it. Okay, we're gonna see a lot more what we call receptive labeling, which means after they hear something, they retrieve something for you, or like they point out something for you to say, oh, zebra, this one, right? And then you might say, it might be, you also have like, how to say, there's no expressive, there's very little expressive components to it, right? You also see a lot of PECs being taught to these children. And that's because PECs, the fundamental reason for teaching PECs is to create more communication intent. Sorry, I'm always getting the word wrong. So that actually helps the child a lot because now they have a means to get something. So let's talk about a case that I've recently been trying to help the mother to coach her to become a better therapist slash parent in teaching the kid, right? So for a very long time, the child has been following I'm not going to say the name or whatever, right? So they've been following some therapy, and it hasn't been working. Okay, I talked about this last week, right? It's the same case. So the problem with that is that the child can actually imitate some sounds, but the effort was so low, it was really bad. If you say something like water, she goes like that. At least you got the syllables right. Yeah. So we have to go down and know what type of sounds are missing, right? And we have to go down to see if that is her true ability or not, right? And what does that mean? Is that we're gonna do a lot more imitation, right? Just to get her imitation, her quality of imitation up. And that's really hard to tell the kid because she's nonverbal. So the key to teaching nonverbal children who are type 2, the second type, in my mind, not there's no book or whatever that says this, those who are globally developmentally delayed, is your ability to explain the task or explain to them non-verbally what you want from them. Because most of the time when you push for something and the child doesn't understand and their cognitive level is lower than their peers, what's going to happen is that they're going to get pissed off at you, right? They're like, what are you doing, man? I don't understand. And I see that a lot when kids don't know what you want. Even if you have a reward, even if you have something she wants or he wants, it's not going to end well. Okay. And the reason is because this is a skill that is rather lacking in the nonverbal space, especially for parents, because they don't know how to express and present a task so that they understand. And when I went to their house, well, obviously this is a special case for me because they were leaving the country. I didn't want them to go without having like more skills under the parents' belt, right? So I went to their house and I looked at what's going on, right? And when she was working with me, the mom was surprised. I'm not tooting my own horn, okay? Any old therapist can do it. I'm not saying that I'm like better than everyone, okay? I'm not saying that. So basically what I mean is that when the mom saw me working with the kid was a lot more calmer, right? The kid had a lot more eye contact, and that's because I've had so much training. I've been lucky as a therapist to have, lucky or unlucky, I don't know, to have so many nonverbal children that I've taught. And the reason is because I'm a guy, and nonverbal children who are a little bit bigger, right, a little bit older, they tend to be a little more physical. So usually they throw me towards that place. It's like, oh, Ming can handle him. It's like, whatever. If you look around in my industry, especially in Hong Kong, there are nearly no guys like myself. I'm like an outlier, just to let you know. You won't see a guy like me working in this industry in an Asia setting. Everyone else is like 90% are women. The 10% left are skinny and nice guys. Really like very, how to say it, very proper skinny dudes, right? Not saying anything bad about them. I'm saying bad about myself, right? I don't even fit the industry that I'm working in. So I'm really happy that you guys are watching me because I'm the total opposite of what you expect of a person who teaches special needs children, right? So aside from that, how do you teach and make sure that your child knows what you want? First of all, to demonstrate over and over and over and over again until you feel that they know it. And how do you know? It's because you're taking the hand and doing something. That's why it's very important. And I say a lot of times that, action imitation is very important. It's not only, I know most of the children can do it. It's just that they don't understand they have to do it, or they understand the concept of imitation, or the concept of, I want you to have this quality of imitation, right? This level of imitation, I want your full attention and try your hardest, right? So many nonverbal children, or those who are like a parrot or whatever, so to speak. I'm not saying this to be like, I'm trying to be politically correct here, okay? Is that they foresee or guess what you want from them and they get away with it, right? But for nonverbal children especially, you cannot let them guess and get away with it. So therefore, you need to take their hands and keep on doing the thing over and over again until you feel that they understand, okay? Once you have that, you want to pause. You need to put their hands down and wait like this and give the instruction and then let go, so that they cannot perform something before your instruction. So this is a very like behavioral approach, right? The instruction must precede the behavior. Okay. And some people might say, oh, this is like is robotic or whatever. Yeah, but well, I want to see if you can do better than that. Like last time I checked, someone who tried another type of approach with that kid, it didn't end well. Bite marks and pinch marks, right? And the reason is because she doesn't know what's going on. And when she doesn't know what's going on, fear kicks in, right? When fear kicks in, she wants to get out. And when you stop her from getting out without telling her why, her brain, the fear part of the brain called amygdala, is gonna light up and it's gonna be like, get out of my way. You don't want to see me hold I have a cat here, right? If I hold her down without any reason particular and she's feeling scared, she's gonna scratch me no matter how much she trusts me, right? And she's sleeping right here in front of me. I put my hand on top of her. She doesn't attack me. But if I do something outside of her comfort zone without enough explanation to her, she's gonna freak out. And it's the same for nonverbal children. Not saying that they are as if they are animals, and don't mean that. Okay. So at the end of the day, what's the key thing you need to learn about teaching children is to explain the task correctly. Okay. And this is something that no one talks about, I guess, especially to parents. Okay. When you teach a nonverbal child, you don't need to say one word, not even one word, and you can get them to do what you want them to do. And if I wish I could demonstrate this right in front of you, right? And because of parents' consent, there's a lot of things I cannot do, and I will not do, in fact, because it's just hard to share this kind of knowledge through video format. I can write about it. I can show you in person if you come, but at the same time, until I feel like it's ethical to for a parent to be vulnerable enough to show their children, being taught by myself, which I have, right? I think it's some of the time it's okay, but the more, how to say, the lower the ability of a kid, the more emotional baggage the parent has, and that's no way around that. It's very difficult to ask someone, oh, can you show me? No one in their right mind would say, oh, you can take a look at my nonverbal child and learn from her. No, come on, right? So it's kind of difficult, right? So that's it for tonight, I guess. That's all I want to share, which I don't think anyone has been talking about. And if you want to know more about how to teach nonverbal children, you can go to the link below or above, wherever it is, like agentsofspeech.com/nonverbal guide or something. I forgot already. Anyways, just click the link above and you'll see a whole flow chart that I use. It's very general, but it's a general good guideline for you to take a look. Okay, go see it. All right. And if you're already in the From Zero to Words course in agentsofspeech.com, then great. That's how I usually approach. No matter if I'm teaching someone to do it, like a new therapist or a parent, I always go through that flow chart that I give them. And it is an overgeneralized piece of art. But at the same time, you need to have that, you have to have that format in your head in order to go forward. And the only way to get better at communicating and telling nonverbal children what you want from them effectively is to do it. There's no way. There's no things that you can, there's no other way other than doing it, right? It's about the people, it's about the kid, how she reacts to you or he reacts to you, and how you react to how they react. So it's a meta thing, it's a meta reaction, and keeping it cool. Because sometimes, truth be told, when a nonverbal child doesn't listen to you, I see the fire in the mom's eyes and you just want to smack them, right? I mean, they've been trying so hard and all you want to do is escape and bite them, of course. And if you keep on trying and nothing works, then of course you're going to get angry. It's just human, right? So at the end of the day, you have to remind yourself that you cannot use your own ruler to measure their progress, right? Especially for children who have like cognitive delays or disorders, or multiple complex disorders going on. We cannot use our own ruler to think, oh, dude, it's so easy. Just making a sound is so hard for them already. So remember that. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow, right? You might think that, oh, my kid is like this, and you would compare with other people. But when there's a comparison that goes lower, then that comparison is not valid anymore, right? Just remember that there are a lot more, I've seen very hard cases, very difficult cases, and I've seen very easy cases too, right? It doesn't matter what type of case it is, as long as you don't give up, you will see some results. Okay, there will be some improvements, and each former nonverbal kid that I've been able to speak to, they all said one thing. They all said, well, thank God someone didn't give up on me. That's what they all say, right? If you talk to someone who is in their adulthood or teenage years that they used to cannot speak properly, I was like, thank God someone didn't give up on me. You never know, if you leave them alone, what would happen? Like, would they still be verbal? Who knows, right? So this is like the type of work that I do. I don't know if my work is 100% useful sometimes, right? But at the same time, you gotta deal with what you gotta deal with, right? Okay, so that's all for tonight, and I'll see you guys in next week. Okay, that's it, and I'll see you. Bye bye.